They are betraying their country. Wow, that's a heavy statement, right? Especially when you're talking about a national hero. In 1977, that's exactly the label slapped on one of England's most beloved cricketers. But, these stories are never quite that black and white, are they? So let's get into it. So, the man at the center of this whole storm is a guy named Derek Underwood. Now, if you asked anyone back then, he was the perfect English cricketer, the ideal, really. But what people didn't see was the struggle happening behind the curtain. He and his teammates were playing a game they loved, a gentleman's game, but they were being paid, well, like anything but gentlemen. And look, this guy was the real deal. Clean-shaven, polite, always put the team first, a total traditionalist. He was the kind of player you'd point to and say, that's what English cricket is all about. He was literally the last person on earth you would ever expect to become a rebel. And that, right there, is why this whole thing is so fascinating. Okay, so let's talk numbers for a second. Get this, 2,600 pounds. That's what a top-tier county cricketer was making a year in the mid-70s. I mean, think about that. That's less than what a skilled worker was earning. These guys are heroes on the field, representing their country, and they're basically living paycheck to paycheck. It's kind of crazy. And it wasn't a static problem. Oh no, it was getting worse, fast. So between 73 and 77, the cost of just, living in England just about doubled. It shot up 96%. And the players' pay, it only went up 40%. They were actually losing money in real terms every single year. They were going backwards. And it wasn't just the paycheck, the whole system was, it was broken. You had no real pension to speak of. Forget about job security. The guys running the clubs, they just didn't get it. The players felt like they were just pieces on a board, not people. You can just feel the tension building, right? Something had to give. So into this pressure cooker of frustration and terrible pay steps this larger-than-life character, an Australian media mogul named Kerry Packer. And he's about to make an offer that's not just going to change a few players' lives, it's going to blow the entire sport wide open. Just try to picture this for a second. It's the middle of the night. The phone rings. You pick it up, and it's Tony Grigg, your captain, the captain of England. But he's not calling to talk strategy. Nope. He's calling on behalf of this Australian billionaire, Kerry Packer. This is a secret call that's about to present you with a life-changing offer. But man, it is a huge gamble. And the offer? 40,000 pounds. I mean, let that sink in. You're making maybe a little over $2,000 a year from cricket, and someone offers you 40,000 pounds? That's not just a pay bump, that's a whole new life. That's security for your family, forever. For a guy whose only real skill is bowling a cricket ball, this was absolutely everything. So, this is the dilemma, right? It's huge. On one hand, you risk it all. You could be banned from playing for England, for your county, the press will call you a traitor, you'd be turning your back on everything you've ever known. But, on the other hand, your family is set for life. You finally get treated like a real professional. I mean, put yourself in his shoes. What on earth do you do? Well, he signed. He took the deal. And when that news finally broke, boom, the explosion was massive. And I mean, it was vicious. The powers that be, the newspapers, even a lot of the fans, they didn't see the why. They didn't see a guy trying to take care of his family. All they saw was a traitor. And listen to this quote from Jeff Boycott, another famous player. Players are prostituting themselves for money. Oof, that's rough. See, this wasn't just some friendly disagreement. This was personal. It was nasty. The accusation was simple. You chose money over your country. The lines in the sand were drawn for sure. And the hammer came down hard and fast. Tony Grigg, sacked as England captain. The governing body banned all the rebel players from county cricket. But maybe the worst cut of all, their own union, the organization that was supposed to protect them, voted to support the ban. Can you imagine? Their own teammates, their peers, turned their backs on them. They were completely on the outside. And for people who actually knew Underwood, it was just pure shock. Alec Bedser, the chairman of selectors, basically said he couldn't believe it. It seemed out of character, he said. This was the ultimate team player. How could he do this? And that sense of personal betrayal just poured gasoline on the public fire. But okay, Let's flip the coin, because there's always another side, right? While the world was screaming traitor, Underwood and the others didn't see it that way at all. They saw themselves as professionals, plain and simple, who were just fighting for their right to work. And this fight wasn't just going to play out in the newspapers. It was headed for a courtroom. And here it is from the man himself. Derek Underwood said, "Records don't bring up a family." And that just cuts right to the heart of it, doesn't it? He'd been in and out of the national team for years. There was absolutely no security. Loyalty is great, but it doesn't put food on the table. An injury could end it all in a second. For him, this was about survival. And then came the court case. And this was a massive deal. The judge listened to all the arguments and came back with the verdict. The bans were illegal. He called them an unreasonable restraint of trade. Basically, the court said, hey, these guys are professionals. You can't just stop them from earning a living. And just like that, the rebels had won. So what did this new world of cricket actually look like? Well, for one thing, it was intense. We're talking the absolute best players on the planet going head-to-head, no holding back. The bowling was so fast and aggressive that helmets became a necessity, not an option. Fitness suddenly mattered. A lot. And then, the craziest innovation of all, playing cricket at night under massive floodlights. Think about the cricket you watch today. Night games? Yep, that came from this. Those colorful uniforms instead of just white? That's them too. White balls, you guessed it. These rebels basically invented modern cricket as we know it. But the biggest change was behind the scenes. TV ratings went through the roof, and finally, players started getting paid and treated like the valuable professionals they were. And Underwood himself, looking back, he really nailed it. He said, "We were rebels, but we helped cricket progress." And he's 100% right. They shattered tradition, sure, but by doing that, they dragged the sport into the future. They made it what it is today. So it all comes down to this, really. When does a traitor become a pioneer? It's a tricky question. One minute you're a villain, the next you're a visionary. Derek Underwood got dragged through the mud for picking his family over the old way of doing things. But you know what? Every single player who came after him has benefited from that betrayal. It really makes you think, doesn't it? Who are the rebels today that we're calling traitors?